Hi, and welcome to the MCB Community Update. My name's Eric Joseph. I'm the Executive Director of the Audible Local Ledger, a reading service based in Mashpee, Massachusetts. It's part of the Massachusetts Audio Information Network. Maine, spelled M-A-I-N, your main source for accessible community news and information. We bring local news and information to people who are blind or print disabled across the state. As part of the podcast, we'll interview the commissioner of MCB, John Oliveira, quarterly. And in the intervening months, we'll speak to different directors and people behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, asking them some probing questions and some fun questions as well. And hopefully, we'll all learn together. We welcome your feedback and hope you enjoy our series of interviews. And now, without further ado, here is this month's MCB Community Update. And welcome to the MCB Community Update. This week we have Justine Muir. She is the Deputy Commissioner of the Mass Commission for the Blind. Good morning, Justine.
Good
How are you?
morning.
Hopefully you've been in this position long enough to get your sea legs, even though it's just been barely, I think, a month or so. And I'm sure many of the people you work with have come to know how you got to where you are and how the transition has gone. But for those of us who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about your career and how you transitioned into the position you're currently in, which is Deputy Commissioner of MCB?
Sure, absolutely. So I'll go way back for a minute here. When I was in college, actually, I think it was my junior year of college. I had a lot of interest and a lot of different minors and majors that I was exploring at that time. And I think probably my parents were starting to hit the panic button a little bit that I hadn't honed in on what my career might be. So my mother was actually a school administrator at that time, and there was a student at her high school who was blind, and she strongly encouraged me to come out to the school and to meet the student and to talk with his TVI, his teacher of students with visual impairments. So honestly, I very reluctantly went, and within, I would say, a matter of minutes of meeting that student and talking with his TVI, I said, okay, I want to do this. This is what I'm going to do. I was so, just honestly flabbergasted. He was fully included in a chemistry class, probably an honors chemistry class, working alongside his peers. Everything was accommodated as it needed to be, and as it all should be. So it was extremely impressive, and I said I want to be I want to be the person who makes that possible for other students as a TVI. So from that point on, basically I started volunteering. I think it was actually that weekend was the Braille Challenge at the Carroll Center was hosting. So I think I volunteered that weekend to be an assistant proctor or something along those lines at the Carroll Center, and really met so many amazing individuals at that event, and really started, Dr. Karen Ross really started offering me opportunities to work at the Carroll Center through the summer and school vacations while I finished up my undergrad, which was at Assumption College in Worcester. And then I immediately enrolled in the TVI program at UMass Boston. So I worked like I said, I worked with the Carroll Center while I was doing my master's program for TVI. And then I transitioned to working as a TVI for a school district. For a number of years, I held that position, and that was with the Malden Public Schools, large community right outside of Boston. And during that time, myself and another TVI, Janet Elwick Saka, and we had a lot of support from other TVIs and orientation and mobility specialists. One, Kara Peters, who works for MCB as an O&M today. We started V-Stars. We founded V-Stars, which was an after-school enrichment club essentially for lots of students right outside the greater Boston area. And we got the students together and did lots of recreational opportunities, formed a goalball team. A lot of these students were potentially the only student in their community or their school who was blind or visually impaired. So it was really an opportunity to get together and do different activities and kind of have a little bit of a mini community there. So that was one of the highlights, I think, of my career was V-Stars, certainly. After I held the position of TBI for a number of years, I decided that I wanted to shift slightly into administration, school administration. So an opportunity kind of came up with the Malden Public Schools, where I became a team chairperson for special education, and then shortly after, program manager of Malden High School, the special education department of Malden High School. I held that position for a number of years, which gave me a lot of valuable experience. And then I held that position also with Malden for the K through 8s. Which was a couple different schools at that time. And then from there, I, moved closer out to Central Mass, and an opportunity came up with the Littleton Public Schools for Director of Pupil Services. So I transitioned into that position where I oversaw all of special education, Section 504, McKinney-Vento, homeless and foster care, the clinical services for the district, so on. And I held that position through the start of the pandemic. And then the community in which I was living at the time, which was Westminster, the same position opened there. So I transitioned from Littleton Public Schools to the Ashburnham Westminster Regional School District as the Director of Pupil Services there. I held that position until a few days before I started here as the Deputy Commissioner. So that's kind of been my career trajectory, and I'm so grateful for all the experiences that I've had that have led me here.
Well, great. It sounds like you found your calling early on and that you knew right away what you wanted to be doing, which is a real gift. It took me a lot longer than it took you, I think, to figure out what I was going to do in life. So here you are, you've become Deputy Commissioner for about a month. And what is this first month, the transition from the teaching that you were doing? Now you're in administration. It's a state, a state agency vacation that's got to be going on for you as you take on this new role. How's it been going?
Yes, it's been going great. In my first month and I guess a few days now, I've had the opportunity to really immerse myself in the agency's work and connect with various stakeholders, and many stakeholders at that. So it's been great. I've attended numerous meetings with our regional directors, some of the regions themselves. I've met with the entire staff of the region, our VR staff. I've had the opportunity to attend one of their meetings. I'm looking forward to meeting with the children's social workers in the next couple of weeks. Of course, our executive team, the advisory board, other agencies, and partner organizations. I've had the opportunity to meet with all those stakeholders, and it's been great to meet so many people, and everyone's been so welcoming and so helpful in helping me really gain a deep understanding of our priorities and the needs of the consumers, of course. I've also participated in several events during this first month plus, such as the internship closing ceremony. And I also attended a wonderful event at the Woo Sox put on by the Memorial Foundation for the Blind. And I'm also participating with a lot of the planning committees for some of our upcoming MCB events, like the Reverse Job Fair, White Cane Day, which is coming up in mid-October, and also College Information Day for some of our rising seniors. So all of these things have really given me a firsthand look at the impact of our programs and our services, and of course, the dedication of our team, which is amazingly strong. So, and I think, I'd just like to add my initial impressions of the agency are overwhelmingly positive. Honestly, I'm so impressed by the commitment of our staff, and the strength of the relationships that we have with our partners and consumers.
Did you find when you came in that there were issues that were kind of waiting to be wrestled to the ground when you came in? Or did you step into a smooth running, agency machine that's been going for quite a while and kind of knows how to block and tackle and get things done? Was it, whoa, I stepped into kind of a lot right away, or was it, okay, they're letting me kind of take my time and learn my way through what this position is going to be, and you're going to be defining what a deputy commissioner is at the MCB. So I'm sure there's a little bit of molding that's going to be going on with the clay you've been given.
Yes, exactly. I would completely agree with that. So, I think I've come into an agency that has a really, really strong foundation. And so I'm looking forward to building on that real strong foundation that we have, and obviously continuing to evolve and enhance the programs and the services that we provide. And that's from the services that we provide to our youngest, the children that I mentioned, all the way up to our elder services and everything in between. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and really ensuring that all individuals, regardless of their background, their location, obviously things are so drastically different from serving a consumer right in the Boston area to the Cape and Islands to far out in Western Mass. So regardless of situation, that all of our consumers have access to all of our services. That's my top priority, and as we know, it's the agency's top priority. So, I think we have amazing programs and services in place, and part of what my role will continue to be as a deputy commissioner we'll be looking for ways to continue to expand our outreach efforts and continue to, like I said, make sure that everyone who needs services has those, and that we're continually evolving what we do. And seeking input from our community partners is a huge, huge piece of that, and from our consumers as well. So I'll be continuously evaluating and looking at how we can move things forward, whether that's from our employment services to assistive technology. We know that's ever changing, and just working to be sure that everybody has what they need.
It's great. And none of those were particular issues that had to be fires that had to be put out right away when you came in. That would be anything you had to wrestle to the ground with your team.
No, I don't think there's been any wrestling quite yet, and hopefully not in the near future. As I think, probably many of the listeners know, Commissioner Oliveira had been in this position for many years and was serving a dual role until, the position was filled. So I'm extremely grateful to him and his knowledge and expertise. As well as the knowledge that so many of our staff members have, for being here for as long as many of them have, which is great. There's a lot of
Yeah.
institutional knowledge that I'm very grateful and fortunate to have and to be able to build on. And like I said before, everyone's been so welcoming and just really helpful. So
Yeah, we found it the same way when we've been doing these interviews, that most of the people that we were talking to are just good people who are just trying to do their job well, and their job is helping others. And for us, much of what we're trying to do is take some of the fear away as people transition into their next stage, whatever it might be visually. And by letting them know that there are services waiting for them, that there's assistive technology that will help them, that they will evolve into being much more connected than they have been in the past, and that many of the fears that come from stereotypes are being shaken daily, in addition to what stem cell research and other things are doing just for the actual ability health-wise to change some of what's going on in here. So it's a staff that we have found has great heart and a great willingness to open up and say, how can we help?
mhm.
Well, we're using all of the assets and all of the budget that we have to try to maximize it to be the best agency we can be to help people. And it comes through as very honest and very, very truthful with everybody when we're doing it. So I think your initial feelings of who you're joining in with seem to be spot on from what we can tell through our interviews. Do you have a team that works specifically for you, or do you oversee, multiple kind of groups? How does that work?
I do. So I oversee multiple groups. Essentially, I think my closest direct reports would be the regional directors. And then they under them essentially have many supervisors and managers, and then a lot of the staff who are working directly with the consumers. I also have a director of program and services. That's one of my direct reports, as well as the deafblind program director. So, but I mean, the like you mentioned, the incredible team. I think every single person, from those working directly with our consumers to everyone who's what you'd probably consider more behind the scenes, whether it's our fiscal team or people who are processing registrations, kind of behind the scenes operation teams, if you will. Everyone plays such a critical role in the success of MCB. And, everybody ensures that things run smoothly, and kind of our leadership team really guides the vision and the strategy. But each individual has such a meaningful contribution that I think everybody makes it a really special agency. So, and the collective effort is what it's really all about.
Great. Sounds like a lot of people are reporting to you, and you're also reporting to a lot of people, because it goes both ways when you're learning and you're, reciprocating with knowledge, and institutional knowledge in particular being shared, which is
Absolutely.
so important, right?
Yeah.
So have you set any singular goal? I know that, budgets just got done, I think in the last month or two, when things got kind of locked in and we kind of know what's real and what, was hopeful. And what do you have any singular group or set of goals you'd like to initiate? I know you mentioned some of the things you're going to participate in the coming months, which sound exciting, a whole diverse group of different activities. But is there one thing that you want to say, I'm going to make this happen. This is what I want to be part of my legacy for what I'm going to do here. And I know it's early to be deciding that. The answer might be no, Eric, it's too early to know that. Okay, but I will come up with something.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you came in thinking, I want to work on this particular, I'm going to polish up this part until it's great. And that's going to be one of the many things that I'm going to make a checkbox for.
Right. That's a great question. I think, no, I did not come in with anything necessarily set in stone that I, knew I was gonna tackle, to use a phrase from the beginning, or wrestle or anything. Because I think it's a little early to identify that at this point, in terms of where I am in my entry phase, if you will. As I mentioned, so much information, but I haven't yet set a single thing. And I don't know that there will be a single thing, because the agency is so multifaceted. I think that in terms of, you mentioned the budget, we have set some expectations at strengthening our fiscal management system, and really ensuring that we maximize our resources, of course, to best serve the community, and really leveraging our financial management system and reports to make sure that we don't revert any money back or anything like that, of course, and just really using the financial records that we have in the past to enhance how efficient we are with our budget system. So I think that's kind of where, from a fiscal perspective, where we're at this point, and what we're looking at for our expectations for the FY25. And in terms of other goal areas that I've kind of set with some of our teams, really collaboration. As I mentioned before, it's such an important and imperative aspect of the work that we do, that our teams, as one of their objectives, of course, will continue to foster collaboration with outside vendors and community partners and other agencies. That's one of our ongoing goals. and that includes other agencies within the Commonwealth, of course. Some of we consider sister agencies. And also to focus on diversity and inclusion, of course, and that's within our own agency, and with improving and expanding our opportunities for our consumers as well.
So the answer was
broad.
a whole set of different things that you'd like to do, not
Yeah.
just one singular thing. So
No.
I get it. I get it completely. So we'll close on a completely different note. As part of our getting to know the MCB staff more fully behind the scenes, we asked, so who's your favorite musician or group, and what was your first concert?
Ooh. Um, that's a great question. So I have so many favorites. I don't know how much time we have, but that's a very difficult question.
Give us the
I'll go
top three.
Oh, top three. Well, I would say listen to country and have listened to country music for the longest period of time, and I, of course, dabble in with top 40 and things like that. So I would say probably Kenny Chesney is definitely up there. And that was also one of my first concerts, way back when I believe it was the Xfinity Center in Mansfield, was it?
That's after the Tweeter Center.
Yes, or maybe
Yes.
yes, one of the two.
Yep.
Way back, it was his, first concert ever in the area. There was a group of us that always used to go through the college, high school, starting in high school through college, and our group continued to grow as we met more and more people at the shows. But I saw his first concert at Gillette as well, and I think it was when he coined the phrase, was it "No Shoes Nation," at one of the concerts here, which I know any Chesney fans will know what I mean by that. So I would say Kenny Chesney's definitely up there, Tim McGraw, and probably Reba.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for all your time, your information that you shared with us today, Justine, and best of luck in the role as Deputy Commissioner at MCB. It's been both informative and entertaining for us. And listeners, you can join us next month when we bring back Commissioner John Oliveira for the MCB Community Update from his point of view. We thank you for tuning in. Thanks again. Appreciate it, Justine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.